bait is to entrap someone with a glitter of temptation. What do you mean by bait? I think everyone knows what's the meaning of bait. Bait is something that you put across to someone which is very tempting to get them trapped. In fishing, bait is something which you put towards a fish so that it falls into your trap. Now, baits are being used all across the world in different forms. Now you see marketing ads, on the net, on the television. I wouldn't say that it's absolute bait, but it's bait in some form. It's a temptation for you to buy something. It's a temptation. You see a lot of ads which are extremely interesting on the screen, on the television screen, which really tempts you into buying it. Now, I wouldn't say that it is really bad and it's a form of bait to trap you, but it's a light bait in some form. It's something which tempts you and makes you want to buy it. Now, baits in extreme forms are really bad, because it traps you and you have no ways to escape. Now, certain extremely biased laws put across in the society gives advantage to certain sections of the society to exploit the other using the laws which are in their favor. Now, I would say that these kind of laws are a bait to the people whom the laws are meant to help. Now, let's cite an example of a case where one person, maybe a husband and a wife, have had a marital discord. Okay, in an usual sense of the word, without biased laws, they would try to settle it between themselves. But when certain baits are given to one party so that they can use these baits to gather property and all the material wealth for themselves, the carnal instincts start to work. Carnal instincts are there in all animal species, including humans. It is the instinct to take advantage of a situation for personal gains. To an animal, it would be, to a tiger, it would be meat that is just deer meat, which might be just available for free. So in the same way, instead of a normal argument which could be settled in the normal way of life, these baits prompt individuals into the carnal instincts. And when those carnal instincts of enormous gains are there, they would invariably fall into the trap of trying to gather property, trying to gather things for themselves which wouldn't be normally available to them. Now, these carnal instincts, with the use of laws, with the strength provided by the laws, would make the person using it, would make the person exploiting it vulnerable in the long run, would hurt the person in the long run more than the person who is being exploited by use of these laws. Why I tell you this is, our human life is just not for the next 1 year or 2 years or next 5 years. It is going to be, if you're a normal individual who is 30 years old, or who is 25 or 30 or 50 years old, you still have 20, 25 years of your life. Now, what you're going to look forward is to not just the first year of gain or the second year of gain. It is going to be for the next 25 years. Now, human life is so fragile. Anyone can harm us in the most intensive ways with least effort. What if we do not breathe just 5 minutes? We would begin to turn dust. That is what human beings are. That is what animals are. That is what all living things are. Now, someone who really wants to hurt us, if we hurt them, can hurt us in numerous ways, There are hundreds and thousands of ways to hurt someone where laws just cannot protect anyone, cannot protect us. A needle at the wrong place might prove fatal, or there are so many ways where we can fall prey to fatalities in life. So our life is so fragile. In a fragile life like this, when we exploit someone to the core, we are falling into a trap of the bait. Because usually when you take advantage of someone, the person exploited has a carnal instinct to get back to you. It might not be in the next 1 year, or it might not be in just next 2 or 3 days, or it might not be just be within the next 1 month, but it might be even after 5 years. It might not be by the person, but it might be by someone who's very close to the person. It might be a relative, a close friend, or there's the children who would exact the revenge. Revenge is a very intense carnal instinct within humans. Not only that, the most dangerous part of using baits for exploitation, baits in the form of laws which are highly biased, is when someone is being really exploited, there is an intense energy within the exploited person which would be a negative energy transferred to the oppressor, which will affect them at some point in their life. It might be 1 month after the incident, it might be 1 year after the incident. If you're going to exploit someone, naturally they will curse you. And believe me, curses are very, very powerful. You better not be at the receiving end of an intense curse. You better not be at the receiving end of a curse which has emotion in it. A curse which is heartfelt, because it is going to affect the person who's exploiting. And curses, once spelled, are much more powerful than the punishment that the exploiter is made to get. Sometimes it might be terrible accidents. It might be terrible fights for the oppressor. It might be some disease within the oppressor. It might not just happen in the next 5 months, 6 months, or 10 months. It might happen even after 5 years. Or it might be carried forward to generations. So why I tell you is, at the end of the day, extremely biased laws, which is meant to benefit a section of the people, turn out to be the terrible bait of suffering for that section of the people it's meant to be. So the only option for a wonderful society into the future is to have effective general neutral laws and its effective implementation for the betterment of the society.